Inside the Drag Closet with Jade. Join Jade DeVere and her fabulous team of guests as they discuss all things drag, from wigs to makeup to performances and everything in between.
Join us at WLFE-DV.com for upcoming shows and more.
Well, hello there, kids. Welcome to Inside the Drag Closet, the show where we talk about all things drag and some things that aren't. Who knows? We're really just here to have a good time. I'm your host, Jade DeVere, and I have a fantastic show lined up for you this evening. We are having a Stratton Takeover. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to talk about drag families. Of course, my co-host this evening is the lovely Miss Fanci DisMount Stratton. And we have some of her fabulous drag siblings with us. We have the beautiful Miss Kiki Stratton. And I just met her very briefly a couple of seconds ago, Angelica Stratton. So I'm very excited to meet both of them. And of course, we do have our Woo Girl of the Week, which is my lovely friend, Melissa. We're going to be getting into all of that, but I can't start off without asking 3 questions. Who, what, and where? Who am I? What am I wearing? And where can you find me? Well, my name is, of course, Jade DeVere. I am the host of Inside the Drag Closet, which you can watch every Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also have my YouTube channel, which is called Just Ask Jade, the show where you can ask a drag queen anything. What am I wearing? Well, tonight I wanted to go a little bit whimsical. I love this outfit. It was created by the fantastic Kate Hopkins. I wore this outfit when I competed for Queen of Hope, which was a fabulous title. I won that title back in 2014. Wow. They always say the mind is the second thing to go. What's the first thing? I don't remember. But it had wings and everything, but I wanted you to be able to see my garden, which is inside my drag closet, and definitely not a green screen. Moving on. Also, some hair I haven't worn in a while. I figured, why not get her out of retirement a little bit? And of course, these are my natural ears, wish.com. And where can you find me? Like I said, you can find me every week right here on Inside the Drag Closet. I hope you all have a fantastic time this evening. If you would like to help out Inside the Drag Closet, you could always send a donation to @JadeDeVere on Venmo. Just make sure you put in the comments section Inside the Drag Closet, and you will help us advertise and keep the show going on much longer. Now, I already have some Titania realness. Yes, this is my Titania look from Midsummer Night's Dream. Some fabulous friends of mine did that show last week. The Social Distancing Players performed it in conjunction with the Zenith Players, and Maisha Elenai. They did a Midsummer Night's Dream of Equality. You can find that on YouTube. It's a beautiful production, and it was done over, I think it was done over Zoom. You know, performers have to keep performing. That's what we do. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk about something that happened to me this week. In fact, this morning, I got tested for COVID. Yep, that's what it is. I went and got the test. I felt like I was exhibiting the signs of it. It could have been allergies, but better safe than sorry. And I just want to let everybody know the nasal swab looks really scary. It's uncomfortable, but it doesn't hurt. It was what it was. But, you know, go out, get tested if you need to, take care of yourselves. But I'm here to have a good time. You're all here to have a good time. And I want to have a good time with one of my best friends in the entire planet. All right, everyone, put your hands together for my fabulous co-host, Miss Fanci DisMount Stratton.
Oh my God, hi.
Hi. How are you, girl?
Girl, I'm telling you, it's been a week, it's been a day, a month, a year, honey.
Right? It has been.
Yeah.
So if you want to find Fanci, her information is scrolling below on Instagram and Venmo. She is @Fanci DisMount.
Yeah.
So, girl, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, as you can see, I'm wearing my nice new sparkly hat today.
Ooh, where did you get that hat?
Yes, I am your reigning Miss Chester County Pride Fest, which, of course, as with most things this year, it has been postponed until next year. So keep your eyes out for next May, June. We're not sure the date yet, but we'll be letting you know as soon as we know. You can catch me all over the place. Right now, obviously, we're doing a lot of digital stuff and things like that, so keep your eyes out for that. Today, actually, fun story. I officiated a wedding today.
Oh.
Yes. It was a lovely homosexual wedding. Two very dear friends of mine got married, and I got to perform their ceremony. It was a very small endeavor because, we're social distancing. But we went to, I think it's called Megalith Park up in like Bangor, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
It's kind of like, it's like Stonehenge in Pennsylvania. I know.
That's
right.
Weird.
There's all these like giant, like megaliths, these giant stones. I'm like, all right, honey. So that was fabulous. Let's see, what am I wearing? Well, we told you what I was wearing, my lovely, yes. And of course, all my jewelry tonight and my crown are courtesy of Miss Nova Star from Fierce Drag Jewels. So check her out. And
what is the lip color you're wearing?
Yeah.
Cute.
So tonight I'm wearing a lovely new lip. It is from Lip Sense. Check them out. Google it. Search it on Facebook. A very dear friend of mine, Dara, that I went to high school with, now sells for them. And they have amazing makeup products. It's all vegan and all natural and wonderful. Yes,
nice.
We love that. So yeah, and it's fun. It's a long last. Like this is I think it's called Rose Petal. It's a long wear. I wore it for another gig, for another thing I did the other last week. And honey, she stayed on all night long, no reapplications. I was like, yes, ma'am.
That's how you know it's a keeper. If it stays on you, you don't have to reapply.
And the best part is, it doesn't even show up in your straw. Look at that.
Oh, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, tonight she's having a little champagne. She's feeling classy.
Nice.
Well, it's sparkling wine because it's not really from France.
Well, of course. Meanwhile, I'm drinking water because I'm also classy.
That's it. She puts the ass in class, kids.
Exactly. I have so much technology to deal with here on StreamYard. I don't want to drink. I would screw something up.
See, for once, I'm not hosting the show. I'm not in charge. So I get to sit back and get drunk as I want to be, honey.
Right? I'm so used to you being... I have to tell you, Fanci is one of the best drag hosts. Because she's so focused on getting the show up and running. She knows how to paint a face in 20 minutes, and it turns out sickening.
Don't talk about this face like I didn't do it in 20 minutes tonight.
I watched.
The best part is we've got a whole bottle here. So by the end of the show, kids, it's going to be a real fun night. So stick around.
Ooh, things are going to get weird. It's going to be a Stratton family reunion.
Literally, honey. I said I can't have all the girls up on here without, a few cocktails in me because, family stories might start flying. It could get ugly.
That's amazing. Now, speaking of families, I want to talk to someone who I have considered a sister. She's been a really good friend of mine for 10 years now. She is our fabulous Woo Girl of the Week. I'm so excited to bring her onto the show. We all did our makeup, and she did her makeup with us, and she did some war paint tonight. I'm loving it. I give to you Miss Melissa L.E. Baker.
Hello.
Yeah.
I was trying to go for like a butterfly sort of thing. It
like
mostly
it.
just looks like my nephew doodled on my face, but that's okay.
It's a battle fly.
Yes, there you go. Okay, I'm down for that.
I'm just upset that she looks like so educated with her nice bookshelf behind her with all these like big thick books.
I couldn't be in my office because my husband's playing a D&D game in there. And the other option was the kitchen, where you would see all of my dirty pans hanging behind me. So I was like, I'm not pan, I'm a book sexual. So let's do that instead.
There you go.
There were like 3 things wrong with that statement that just name. First off, she has a husband. Hate you. All these bitches up here with their husbands, honey. I'm sitting over here single as hell. And then she's talking about being, books and shit. Honey, I haven't read a book. Well, I don't think in ever. Even in school, I used to use Cliff Notes. They were so good.
Right. I want to point out a book that I am noticing right behind you the other way. And I'm such a nerd, I can recognize it. The other side.
Oh,
it is the William Shakespeare Does Star Wars.
This is The Force Doth Awaken. Yes. I've never actually read it. We picked it up. I don't remember how long ago we picked it up, but yeah, it's Very
He's
fun.
done all of them. They're all
Yes.
amazing. We have a fun comment right here. Yay, Toast!
Yay! Yes.
So can you explain, I know your nickname is Toast, but everybody else might not know.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes, you may
Okay.
swear.
I knew it was late at night, but I wanted to make sure I asked first because I didn't know if there were a bunch of kids watching. Okay, so when I was in high school, my boyfriend at the times liked to call me Melba because it's Melissa Baker Melba. So I put that together.
Right.
And I went around as Melba most of my high school career, and then into kind of just beyond that, a little bit into college, but sort of forgot about it for a while. And then I started doing theater again after I graduated from college. And there was a show. It was called Evil Dead the Musical. I'm remembering it.
I love that show.
And I auditioned for it, and there were 4 Melissas auditioning at the same time. So it was me and 3 other girls, and 3 of us got in the show, which was crazy. So I come up, and I'm the 3rd one to audition, and I'm like, my name is also Melissa, but you can call me Melba. And the director looks at me and goes, Melba? What the fuck's a Melba? And I was like, it's Toast. It's like a little British toast thing. He's like, just go with Toast. So much easier. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever you want, man. Got the job. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'll just be Toast. And then right after that was the first year I did the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair on their show track, their actor track. And I was there with Alyssa Little, who's gone on to do a bunch of directing there as well. She's amazing. And it was weird because people would be like, Melissa, you go here. Alyssa, you go here. And I was like, it sounds the same. Just call me Toast. It's easier that way. No one will mistake Toast. So.
Yeah. And even when Melissa and I are both directors at the New Jersey Renaissance Fair. And for a number of years, it was Melissa, 2 Melanies.
Yes.
Like keeping everyone organized we had spreadsheets.
Yep. All of us white girls with the same damn name. Thanks, Mom.
Now, while it's just the 3 of us, I'm going to put Melissa on the spot. What is one thing you have always wanted to ask a drag queen?
Oh, God. Yes, I just thought of this. How do you, what is your skincare regimen after you take the makeup off? Because when I do my makeup, I end up breaking out almost constantly because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, how do you maintain your pretty faces after you take all of this off?
Fanci, do you want to start?
I mean, so when I take all this off, I kind of look like Angelica Houston in Witches when she takes her face off. It's not a pretty sight, but there's actually a new skincare line. Well, it's not new, but new to me. A skincare line I fell in love with. It's Kate Somerville. She has a whole bunch of different lines within her line. I use their anti-aging and wrinkle formula, and I use the Exfoliate, which is like her exfoliating line. She has there's like a basic face wash, but then there's like this like intense. It's called Exfoliate, and it's like kind of like this green muddy kind of texture. It has like a cinnamony smell to it. Ooh. You leave it on for like 2 minutes. And I mean, it is an intense, like you don't have to like you massage it in for like 30 seconds and then just let it sit for 2 minutes. Like I usually do it like I'll put that on and then like start washing and whatever and then rinse it off and keep going. But that is an amazing, like it's a great exfoliator, kind of gets all that makeup and gunk and dead skin and whatever else. And then I go in with her the anti-wrinkle stuff, her serums and things to good eye cream because guys get puffy. But that the biggest thing is no matter what you use, I mean, I swear by Kate Somerville, but just moisturize. Yeah.
Huh. And see, I'm kind of the exact opposite. I've always had bad skin, but the irony with me is when I get out of drag, I will de-drag body-wise, I'll take my lashes off, and then I'll hop in the shower. Yeah. And I will just shampoo my hair and get my face with it.
With the shampoo?
Yeah.
Oh, honey, there have been times I used to use like Ajax, like dish soap.
Oh, yeah.
That's all the bar had to get my face off. I was like, it'll do.
Some queens will use oil sheen. You just spray your face and it wipes right off.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm doing
Really?
Crozade on my eyebrows, which is a wonderful medical grade adhesive to keep your eyebrows down, I have to use the Prozade remover. But since we've been in quarantine, I've been using glue sticks again. So water soluble.
Now, back in my younger years, I used to use it was a very old fashioned, old wives' tale, very old, ancient actually, for a good skin complexion. I stole it from Cleopatra, of ancient Egypt. And for those of you that don't know out there, Cleopatra used a very high protein facial cream that was made from very select men of the Egyptian realm. So you can only imagine. But
that's
Icky.
yeah,
it's
that's
delicious.
how Jade loses track of her own show. Well, the three of us could chat all night, but I really want to chat with our guests this evening. I'm very excited. Ever since I first met Fanci and her sister Aida, I have had nothing but respect for the Stratton family. And I'm very excited to meet one of these Strattons all the way from New Mexico this evening. Let me make sure I get this title correct, which I'm going to mess it up because there's Roman numerals involved. She is Empress 26 Imperial Sovereign Court of New Mexico. I hope I got that right. She's going to correct me if I didn't. But put your hands together for Kiki Stratton.
You did great. That was perfect.
Awesome.
Empress 26 of the Imperial Sovereign Court of all New Mexico.
Amazing.
We just changed the name.
Now, if you want to spend some money,
but for tax purposes.
Oh, gotcha. That's fair. If you want to follow her on Instagram or send her money on Venmo, all of her information is down below. But Kiki, I have 3 questions for you. Yes. Who are you? What are you wearing? And where can we find you?
My name is Kiki Stratton. You already said my title. And what am I wearing? I'm wearing a hand-me-down because I am not ashamed of that. This is a white sequin and gold lace gown situation given to me by a friend from our home bar. And of course, I maybe wore it once between her giving it to me and me actually being able to do drag. So I figured tonight, why not?
That's a good reason.
Plus,
and where can we find you? So where can we find you right now?
My house. Just kidding. Don't come here. I'm not ready. Where can you find me? I don't do drag much right now because we're all quarantined at home. I pretty much just work. But when I was doing drag at the bar, our home bar is the Albuquerque Social Club. It is a private membership bar. So you need a membership to come in. But it's a fun place, cheap drinks, strong drinks, great entertainment. Yeah, all around fun place to be.
Excellent. Now, I have a question just for our viewers. Can you explain what is an imperial court?
So a imperial court is something that popped up way back in the 1970s. It was started by the first ever imperial court Empress. She called herself the Queen Mother of all New Mexico, or the Queen Mother of all the Americas. She started it basically because of the AIDS epidemic. So she started fundraising for friends, family who were dying of AIDS. And so it was a way to fundraise and get money to these people fast. If they needed it for medical bills, great. But sometimes, unfortunately, it was for funeral costs. Since the 70s, we've evolved into a lot of different courts throughout New Mexico, the United States and Canada. And we're now working on stuff like inclusion for non-binary people and transgender fundraising for people to get health care and things like that, housing. During my reign, one of the big organizations that I donated to was the Transgender Resource Center of New Mexico. So they provide health services, advice, psychiatric evaluation, stuff like that. healthcare, pretty much any resources you need for transitioning, they were there to provide it. They're still around. Another one was the Rape Crisis Center of New Mexico. So one of the only organizations that still is able to cater to your rape crisis needs, and they do not make you mandatory to report to the police if you don't feel safe to do so. So that was one great organization that I worked with and fundraised for during my year as well.
That's amazing. Fanci, I'll throw it over to you.
Yes. Okay, so I met Miss Kiki. It's funny. So you have to understand the Stratton family, honey, our darling mother, Miss Candy, she gets around just a little bit. We've got Strattons all over the country, all over the world, actually. We've got in Belgium, France, Australia, tons of different states, Canada, all the different states throughout the U.S. So I actually didn't meet Kiki until 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago you did Goddess?
Yes, 2017.
Yeah. She was competing for All American Goddess the same year that my daughter was. So they were competing against each other. And that was the first time we actually met in person. And we had a lovely time. We had a bunch of Strattons out there that year.
It was a blast. It was practically a family reunion.
Literally. I remember we did a big breakfast, like a brunch thing at, I think it was IHOP.
Yes.
And we walked in with like a table of 20, and it was like, hi, don't mind us. Just put us in the back away from everybody because we're going to be obnoxious. So here's a fun little question I have for Kiki, just to explain to the children. So, hey, girl, explain to them about your incestuous endeavors.
Our incestuous endeavors?
Yeah, that, that lesbianic wife you got. Yo, sister slash wife.
I was like, what do you mean?
Yo, sister wife.
So, yes, Dahlia was adopted by Candy directly. I was adopted by Jade Stratton, and then in proxy adopted by Candy later. So we're technically sisters under Candy now, but she used to be like my drag aunt or something.
And now they have, are y'all married or just dating still? I don't remember.
We're still engaged. We've been engaged for 5 years. We hit 5 years on the 11th of this month. So yeah, I don't know what we're waiting for. We like spending our money on traveling and having fun. So we're not really focused on funding a wedding anytime soon. And like now that it's very everyone's in their own houses and stuff like that, we might just do it now so we don't have to pay for a large wedding. We'll just go to the courthouse.
Girl.
Like 3 people there, a witness, and then we're just good.
I'm a wedding officiant. I can marry you people. Yes, I can.
There you go. Through online, right?
Yes, I sure can. I am ordained in the
Marriage
entire country. I just did a wedding today. There he is, Brandon, right there. Mm-hmm. That cute little boy there in the bottom corner of the screen, that's Mr. Brandon. I married him and his husband Louis today.
Aww. Congratulations.
Yes, it was so stinking cute. I couldn't stand my life. Oh, and the best part is, so they made me a stole. I have a cute basic white stole that I wear for ceremonies, but Louis hand sewed me a rainbow stole. So now I have this beautiful rainbow stole I can wear for all my gay weddings.
Gorgeous.
Awesome.
It's delightful.
Situation appropriate.
Right? Because Lord knows, honey, if I'm doing a wedding, it's probably going to be homosexual to some degree.
Yeah.
If you're out in public, it's probably going to be homosexual to some degree.
I was like, aren't we all kind of homosexual to some degree?
Right?
All gray area.
Just a little. Trust me, according to Grindr, yes, there are homosexuality.
I don't know what Grindr is.
Yeah, that's for sure a married woman. Seriously, like I am the only single bitch on this feed still.
Just today.
Right? Today.
Well, I'll tell y'all that story when we get off camera.
Jade, you guys should do a dating show just for Fanci. Like do like one of those old school like Bachelor #1. What would you do if I had your car and I drove you somewhere? Let's go to the library.
That reminds me of the Family Guy sketch. If I was an ice cream, how would you eat me? I'd eat you really fast before I got flaccid.
Oh my god.
Jerry,
mean-
I'm a virgin. I don't know about those things.
There's always the entity looking for you.
Well,
I got to interview Entity a number of months ago, and they are part of the Dead City Collective. Scary, creepy clowns. They're amazing.
you know,
Good choice.
surprisingly, I know a lot of people that have like, I forget what it's called, but like the clown phobia.
Colorophobia.
Yeah, that.
Chlorophobe. Yeah.
Clowns
That
never
sounds like
been
a fear of
problem,
calories.
right? I'm allergic to calories. It's true. That's but
I'm
no,
afraid of drag queens.
oh, girl, they terrify me.
Same.
Actually, you know, Jade, you know this one person, Stacy.
Yeah.
So she's one of my ex-girlfriends back when I was straight. She is terrified of clowns, like terrified. We went on one of those haunted hayrides once back in high school. And there's there's all these different things, whatever. And the one you're pulling up on the hayride and you can see these like red and white tents. She was like, oh my God, it better. And of course, as we get closer, you start to hear the music and the whole nine. Well, these clowns are like diving up on the hayride. Girl, she was like in the center of the hayride. People were on top of her trying to shield her from these clowns. So I literally was in the corner pissing myself laughing. Everybody else, they're trying to protect her. I'm dying. I thought it was hysterical. This is why I'm a terrible friend. It's awful.
And the day after, I decided to be a drag queen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
We
then
have some fun comments out here. Brandon said, you can turn it around for clouds too, you know.
the stole they made me. It's rainbow on one side, but when you turn it around, it's like glittery clouds.
Oh,
Aw.
that's amazing.
I know.
Cute.
Fun comment. Get me in on this dating show that is Anastasia Diamond.
Me and Anastasia gonna get married off in one of them shows.
Right.
We'll just do a
Next
Fiddler on the Roof matchmaker bit.
Next comment was they would have their work cut out for them with you, Anastasia.
Hello.
That's from Monica, who was our woo girl last week.
Yeah.
This comment cracks me up. If you're afraid of clowns, then are you afraid of Bianca Del Rio?
Oh, clearly.
Everybody should be afraid of Bianca Del Rio.
Literally, honey, that Rolodex I hate is mean.
I'm emailing her. I want to get her on this show. We'll see
Yeah.
what we can do.
For the dating show?
The dating show
The
and
dating
this
show.
The dating clown show, apparently.
Exactly.
No,
Melissa,
that'd be
do
a
you
throw.
have any questions for Kiki?
Oh gosh. Now I'm trying to think. Okay. So your piercings, they're real. What?
No,
hurt-
none of them are real.
Wait, no, really?
I can take this out right there.
She's my clip-on cane.
These are glued on. Those are glued on. I literally
Amazing.
have nothing pierced.
Oh, I thought they looked real to me. So this is.
Thanks.
I have.
It's
never mind.
my
There went my
go-to drag aesthetic. I decided to start doing these during my reign because we have a protocol. So when we have coronations and things in other states, they read this long protocol for your title. And in mine, I am the feather serpent Empress. So I have snake bites.
Oh.
That's smart. That's really cool.
So it's like a little unique thing that I have.
That's really neat.
Kiki, do you have anything you want to add?
I take my face off with dish soap in the shower.
There
I just
it
can't
is.
imagine this. This is so. I've spent so many years being like, no, you must use Neutrogena and you must moisturize and,
I
do all these
don't
other things.
moisturize after either. I'm just
Yeah.
like, dish soap, it's tight as a tiger. I look 18 again. Everything's good.
Yeah, but you're still young, bitch. Wait till you get a little bit older.
31.
Wait till you're rolling around closer to 40. Things change quick.
Wait until you pass 40.
Nah, I remember being in my 20s and being like, oh, this is great and everything's fun. I think I had a really great year at 28. And then after that, it was like, nah, actually my 30s are way, way more satisfying.
It's funny. So my drag daughter, Aloe, today's her birthday. And she's at that magic age that nobody ever believes. She just turned 29.
Oh.
And no one ever believes 29 because they're like, yeah, you're 30. You just saying 20. No, really, I'm 29. I was like, you're ready, girl. Because
29 doesn't exist.
Exactly.
I actually
Well,
had
I tried extending my 29 to 2 years. I could not believe I was turning 30 last year. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be 30. Oh, shit, I'm going to be 30.
I held on to 26 for 4 years.
Ha!
My mother was
And I'm
29
not
and I turned
2020
30.
has like a year, so I'm 30 again.
I love it. Well, I do want to keep the show moving right along. Kiki, I hope you hang out for a little bit. We're going to bring you back in a little while, but I am so excited to keep chatting with you. This is so much fun.
I'll go do an outfit change. Just kidding.
Awesome. We'll be timing you.
Oh,
see you in a few minutes.
Y'all are like magicians, I swear.
Right? Drag is just a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors.
Sometimes the doorways fall down on you. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've seen that video a lot, Jade. I know that one.
Anybody who's seen me on Willem's Beatdown has seen a stage fall on me.
Yeah, girl, you got famous off of that. That was good.
I did. I actually chatted with Willem about it too, and she was super sweet about it. She was just like, I just want to make sure, like, if I'm tagging you right.
Hello.
Really awesome.
Although, I'm very excited to get to our next guest. We didn't get a chance to chat backstage, so it's going to be all new and exciting. We saw her already, and her hair looks stunning. But why am I still talking? Let's introduce you to, let me get the title correct, Miss Arizona Continental 2020. Put your hands together for Eva Angelica Stratton.
Wow.
Hi, you look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Eva, tell me about the Continental system, because most people don't know a lot about the different systems.
Well, this is going to be my first year competing for Continental. I've watched it for many years. I started doing drag in 2006. To me, and everyone's going to have their own take, but for me, Continental is beauty, elegance, talent, fashion, all of that a little bit combined into one. And I think that that's the reason why I've always been kind of drawn to it. We've had some amazingly talented Miss Continentals. We've had some of the most fashion-forward Miss Continentals that you can think of. Look at Candace Kane, Erica Andrews, Chantel DeMarco's fashion sense is impeccable. To me, that's what Continental embodies.
That's amazing. So I skipped right to the system, but I forgot to ask you 3 important questions. Who are you? What are you wearing? And where can we find you?
My name is Eva Angelica Stratton. As you said, I am Miss Arizona Continental. I'm also proudly serving as Princess Royale to the Imperial Court here. So I'm raising money with them as well. And what am I wearing? I am wearing either Fashion Nova or Diva Boutique. They come quick. It comes in just a few days, and they're cute. Nothing fancy.
I love it. I love those earrings.
Thank you. I think it's for like Amazon, maybe.
Well, and where can we find you?
Friday nights when we open back up. I work here in Phoenix, Arizona. Friday nights I work out at actually Scottsdale, Old Town Scottsdale, at a bar called BS West. We have a cast called Elements. That's every Friday night. And then there's a new show that started. We've been around a year, and then the shutdown happened, and that's Opulence at Stacy's on Melrose, which is right here in the Melrose district, which is kind of what we like to call the gay district.
Nice. We have an area like that up here in Harrisburg, and we used to call it the Fruit Loop.
That's amazing.
Because all the gay bars were right around each other. Yep, it was the Fruit Loop.
Philadelphia literally has a gayborhood. Like, that's actually what it shows up on maps. All of the crosswalks are rainbows. Like, all of the street signs are rainbows. I love it.
We don't play.
Right. Now, if anybody wants to donate to Miss Eva Angelica, which I just got because the moment you said it, I was like, oh, Eva Angelica. Oh, good thing I'm pretty, because I'm dumb as hell. All of her information is scrolling down below. Send her money. Now, I'm going to throw it to Melissa this time. Do you have any questions?
So you, we didn't get to see you much backstage, but you have like the most fabulous hair. Not that anybody else's hair is bad, but like I've been really admiring that. So did you style that, or did you just that came out of a box and looked that good from the get-go?
Or is that coming out of your scalp?
It's mine, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I went blonde when I moved out here to the Valley, trying to be a cute little Valley girl, and burnt half my fucking hair off. So we're getting her back a little bit, but I'm still holding on to the blonde. But she's just mine, a few rollers and some hairspray.
Wow.
Nothing much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
My natural hair is just straight. I can't style it. I was in a show once and they wanted me to have like super 1970s feathered hair. And like they went through a can of Aquanet and they were like, what is going on? I'm like, I have really straight hair. It's not going to do anything.
It's the only thing straight about you, dear.
Yes.
I have a wave curl to mine, so it makes it easier.
Nice. Fanci was saying she fully expected you to show up like full evening gown, updo, serving it.
No, I figured they were going to be all gorged out in their crowns, that I'd be a little bit more subtle.
You have an amazing smile. I can't stop looking at your smile, to be very honest.
Yeah, very.
She's like the long lost child of like Vanna White and somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I saying before when you were having some of the camera problems? That you looked like the girls from the cast of that Fox News anchor movie, which I can't remember right now, which is so dumb. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look it up on my phone, and I'm going to let you know right now. And I think it was like Charlize Theron was in it. And that was like the big deal, that she was in it and she had like a bunch of like prosthetics on to look like a very specific, like Ann Coulter or something like that. Okay, I'm going to look this up.
Bombshell.
Thank you. Yes. You look like the cast of Bombshell. Just the entire cast.
Oh, I did see that, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm horrible with titles. Horrible.
Right.
Fanci, do you have any questions for your sister?
I have to know. I don't know how. I have been to Arizona. It is hot as hell in Arizona. How the hell do y'all survive drag in Arizona?
Well, originally I'm from Michigan, so I moved out here basically right in the middle. I grew up in a small town, and then I, after high school, when I graduated, literally the next day, I packed up. I drove a 1989 Ford Tempo and packed up and moved to like a little bigger city. And then eventually I traveled throughout Michigan and lived in a couple different places, Detroit, Grand Rapids. And then I came out here in 2015. Actually, my first year coming back from Dallas when I went to USA Newcomer, I was like, it's time, let's hit it. And we packed up. My older brother lives out here. So we just came out here. It takes an inquiring taste, maybe. You learn to wear top knots or ponytails. And I rarely wear pantyhose because it's just way too hot.
I competed once, twice, down at Parliament House in Orlando for Comedy Queen, and trying, like, just walking from the hotel room to, like, the main venue. I mean, it's literally, like, not, like, I mean, it's a minute walk. I was literally just drenched. It was so humid and muggy. I was like, how do you girls do this all year long? I can't.
But they're in like a different part. Like Arizona is super dry. Like when I've gone out to Nevada and places like that, like I've seen flies get absolutely terrified that they came in my car and then they were like, oh, I can't survive out here. And then just hide in my car.
It's definitely a dry heat. I don't sweat in the shower like I used to back home, you know, that humidity, mugginess. But driving in I work maybe 7 to 10 minutes away from where I live. And by the time I get to the gate of the apartment complex, I'm sweating in places that I didn't know I could sweat. So it's just as gross.
Terrible.
But the box is great out here, so it's all worth it.
Nice.
Hello.
We have some fabulous comments already. Yay, Miss Arizona Continental, always looking beautiful.
Hi, Edward.
Who is Edward?
Edward Michael is the founder and owner of ArizonaDrag.com.
Oh, we love that.
Get to learn a lot about what's going on around the nation in local pageants and entertainers. He is a resident DJ here throughout the Valley, and he is a promoter many times in several different systems. And I'm going to do a little plug. He took the dive into the stage, and he competed in a pageant last year, and he's Mr. Rock. He went on to do Mr. Pride and was first alternate, which we were, being Mr. and Miss Phoenix Pride is a huge thing out here, and the pageant's not always the easiest to win, and he was first alternate. His talent was phenomenal. He turned it into like this whole, I want to be the star of the gay parade, and it was hilarious. It was amazing.
I love that.
I will say ArizonaDrag.com has like literally been my lifesaver for all like the national pageants when you can't be there. I'm just like glued to their page, like refresh, who won?
Yeah.
I love that. Fun comment here. That's some Mariah realness.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
definitely a mix of Mariah Carey and Vanna White right now.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Hello.
Another comment here. Absolutely beautiful smile on Eva. Your smile is winning over everyone.
Thank you.
So much so my husband's commenting on it, so knock it off.
You're making me blush.
And of course, it's hot, but it's not moist.
I hate that word. Oh.
Yes.
I used to have to say that word at work all the time, and I loved watching people just go, ooh. No.
Our DJ on Friday nights, she'll wear, we call her DJ Lesbian, and she always wears these t-shirts that just have the craziest shit on them, or the things that just make you stop and just, does your shirt really say that? And she'll walk in with a shirt that just in big bold letters, it will just say moist, and she'll just wait for me to realize what her t-shirt says and just watch me cringe.
It's just one of those words. It's an onomatopoeia. It's
gonna make it grow on me, I'm sure, eventually.
I hate when moisture grows on me, honestly.
Well.
Oh, this has gotten ridiculous and silly, and that's exactly what I wanted.
Gold bond.
Melissa has her gold bond, so we're
so the moisture doesn't grow on me. That's
So fun story. Okay, so among the million things I do, I sell sex toys for one of those like home party companies.
Yes.
They have a product. So they have one. One is called Breast Friend. It's a lotion, but it's a talc lotion. So it goes on like a lotion, but then like it turns into a talc, and it's meant for like the underboob sweat when it's hot out. And then they have another one that's geared toward the boys, and it's called, oh my, what's it called? It's called Sack Saver. I was like, okay, honey. But it's basically the same product, just, they changed the names. But yeah, it's actually really good. Like it goes on like a creamy lotion, and then as it like seeps into the skin, whatever, it turns into this talc and keeps you dry in all the places you need to keep dry.
I think that's the word that makes me cringe. Sack.
Well,
without a K on the end. There's just something about it that's just new things. Well, kids, we're all going to head backstage. Fanci's refilling her beverage, so we're going to give Fanci a couple minutes to have the audience to herself. But don't worry, we're all going to be back. We're going to be answering questions from the audience. So if anybody out there has any questions, make sure you send them in the chat, and we'll be back with you soon. See ya. Yes,
I have you all to myself now. How we doing, kids? As you all learned earlier, I am Fanci DisMount Stratton from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I do a little segment once a month that is all about the drag industry, really the entertainment industry, and little tips and inside tricks for the entertainment industry. So this month's tip for it applies to drag, but it also applies to any kind of entertainment based career. When you're starting out in your career, pretty much all the way up through until you really make it to that top echelon, you have to be prepared to not only be an entertainer and a performer, but you also have to be your own PR agent, your own manager, your own everything. You become this one person show, where you're not only the talent, but you're also your business manager as well. Hopefully once you get to the top echelons of whatever your art or your entertainment industry is, hopefully you get that PR person or that talent manager to help out with all those things. But in the beginning, it's really about the hustle. It's really about, you can be the most talented person in the world in whatever you do, but if nobody knows about it, you don't get work. So the best advice I can give to anybody who is breaking into any kind of entertainment industry, whether it's drag, music, dance, painting, sculpting, anything like that, any kind of entertainment-based career, for as much effort as you put into your art, also make sure you put effort into learning the business side. Because then hopefully when you make that upper echelon and you do get those people that are now helping you, you will also want to make sure the business side, so you can make sure you're, watching out for yourself. Because, as great as some managers can be and things like that, at the end of the day, the only person who truly has your best interest at heart is you. So make sure that you really focus on your art and your business side so you can have a successful career.
That is so true. And, I always tell new performers, go out and support shows. If you're looking to get your feet wet, start, befriending people.
Yep.
And that's the best way to do it.
And the biggest trick is just, learning every aspect you can. Especially in the drag world, I didn't have the normal career of a drag queen. I didn't do the normal, starting stuff. Overnight, the very first time I performed drag in a bar, that night I had a monthly and a weekly show. And then within a month, I picked up another monthly show. And it was because I had other skills. It was mainly because I was a DJ. I would get booked because people could book me to DJ and perform. It was kind of a 2-for-1. They could save money. But because I had other skill sets that, I could enhance my art with, it gave me such a leg up. So anything you can learn, whether it's, DJing or graphic design, any extra things you can bring to the table make you so much more desirable to people.
That's very true. Alrighty. So in just a moment, we're going to bring everybody back. I just want to check our comments for a second.
Yeah.
Teddy is commenting on Entity checking in on us. Entity shows up at the weirdest times. It's very unusual.
You just never know.
Exactly. If you wanted to see the interview with Entity, you could always go to the WLFE-DB radio Facebook page. The video is still there. I got to be the co-host for wonderful Teddy here. I did a Beetlejuice look that night because, I was feeling silly and spooky. We have some fantastic questions coming in. I like this comment. Great advice. You're your biggest fan, and at the end of the day, it's your image.
Absolutely.
That's so true. And you have to think about how you present yourself.
Yep.
And some queens I know, it took them longer than others. One of the girls that's going to be on the show later didn't know the backstage game so well. Now she's one of the most talented and well-rounded performers I know. And I'm super excited to have her on the show. But let's not look forward. Let's look at the present and the fabulous guests we have this evening. So let's bring everybody back, starting with Melissa, Kiki, and Eva.
Oh my God, she really did it.
Really, Kiki?
Right.
I did a quick change.
Yeah.
Well, now you have to tell us what you're wearing again.
I pretty much made everything on this one. Even the hair.
I love that hair.
That's gorgeous.
I pretty much bought a black and blue wig and I added all this purple into it. So it's hella thick. I love this for dancing. Just glue it on so it doesn't fall off, but I love it.
It's incredible. I want to get to one more question and then I have a fun game to play. But the question is for Toast.
Ooh, it's me.
Where did you get the idea for Chase Treasure and how did you get it started? I am a big fan.
Aw, thanks, Joshua. I appreciate that. You can blame TJ Miller. It's his fault. So I used to be part of the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair cast, and they are well known in varying circles for having a cast group called the Sultry Sirens of Sin. And their whole job is to be these like gorgeous, sexy ladies that sing dirty songs all the time. And that's real fun. So I got approached. I was the music director at New Jersey. I started doing the New Jersey Fair in 2011. That year and the next year, maybe the next year, in 2012, was I music director. I think I might have done that then. I had at least 1 year. Yeah, I had at least 1 year where I wasn't music director. And then the next year, they were like, be a music director. And I was like, okay. So I did that.
Because
and
Justice moved on.
Right, because he had just left. That's why. And he had like a tour or something he had to do, I think. So then the next year in 2013, they were like, can you make a girls group? And I was like, sure. What do you want? And they were like, well, like the Sirens, but like maybe more family friendly. And I was like, okay, sure. So it started that way of being a more like family friendly show. That first year, it was me and Aileen and Shannon and Jen, who doesn't perform with us anymore. Mm-hmm. And then the next year we added Jasmine. And then right after that, they were like, okay, actually it was Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Renaissance Fair approached us and said, we had a girl group that lost their contract or they weren't performing anymore. Something else happened. Would you be interested in coming to perform? But if they were on the dirty stage, do you think you can make your show more dirty? And I was like, yes.
My favorite.
That. So yes. People ask me like, okay, so can you sum up Chase Treasure in like a sentence? And I was like, if Mary Poppins could sing about dicks, that's like
she
the whole
can.
show.
She just chooses not to.
Right. Some Victor Victoria realness right there. But yeah.
You just came for my drag.
I actually do a cover, a parody, a Mary Poppins parody about poppers. Just saying.
Oh,
that's amazing.
It's delightful.
So this week, what I did before the show is I was perusing through everyone's Facebooks. And I thought, Eva, your reaction was amazing. And I found some fabulous pictures. And I just wanted to throw some of them up here and just let you discuss them a little bit. And I'd actually like to start. Let me see if I can do this. Does this work?
Screen share should be able to work.
Screen share? Actually, I have them all here. I'm trying to. Okay, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Let me see if this works. How about this?
There we go.
Ah!
Yes, mother.
Let's start with Eva. Comments?
Sickening. Yes, queen.
Kiki?
This was so exciting to see her win this, and she used this platform very well her year. I loved it.
Melissa?
I didn't know you could do drag in a flight attendant outfit.
But you can.
I guess, yeah.
Drag in anything.
So funny story. So this photo. So Candy was, she was Miss Trans USA 2019. She is a flight attendant for American Airlines for her day job. And my favorite story ever. So for Halloween, they told all the flight attendants they could dress up. They still had to wear their uniforms, but they could add pieces to dress up. So for anybody that knows Candy, her staple as a performer, she's a legendary Cher impersonator. So she literally showed up to work in her full flight attendant uniform as Cher. Like,
stop it.
Do you have a photo of that? Just kidding. I wish she had a photo of that.
It's somewhere. I know it is. But like she had on her Cher face, wore the black wig. And like people are, she looks just like Cher. And people are getting on this flight like, oh my God, Cher's my flight attendant. And of course, like they would look at her and just like give her this reaction. And she look at him and she'd go, don't ask. And just like, I can't with this bitch.
For those who didn't realize, that was the incredible Candy Stratton.
Yeah.
This was with her Miss Trans USA sash and crown. This is amazing. Yeah. I saw this picture and I was instantly blown away. Mm-hmm. Fanci, tell us a little bit more about Candy.
Yes. So Candy has had one of the most amazing careers, not just as a performer, but just in life. So Candy started performing back in the early 80s. Her very first pageant, this is one of my favorite stories ever. Her first big national pageant, she competed for Miss Gay America. First time out, first big national pageant, and placed, I believe, third alternate. First time out. Hello. She did a Cats number, and she borrowed, I think she bought her set off of another queen that had used it before. And there was like this giant, like 9 foot wide 9 Lives can that she like danced on this 9 Lives can. I died. I don't know if Kiki and Eva, I don't know if you have ever saw some of Mother's old talents from the 80s.
I did.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah. I love her City Lights talent.
Yeah, City Lights. And the one she did when she was, I think she was Miss Alabama Continental, or it was Alabama USA. She does that one where it starts with spoken word where like she's actually talking, and she's that like kind of like dumpy Southern girl, and then she goes into, I forget what song, but it's amazing. But yeah, so she's placed in the top 5 for pretty much every national pageant that exists today, all the big ones. She is like
at least top 3 almost.
Yeah.
I feel like she told me one day, she's like, Mother was always, top 3.
Yeah, she was either first alternate or top 3 at least for Continental, America, all that stuff. And then she was All-American Goddess 2009. She was Miss Gay Universe 2006. And then Miss Trans USA 2019. She's been a flight attendant with a few different airlines, but she's been a flight attendant for quite a few years. She was based out of Australia for quite a while. And she toured all over Australia with her Share production. If you Google Candy Stratton, you'll find interviews all over Australia, just old performances from the 80s. Amazing. And also, on top of all that, her amazing, performance career and all that, she has been such a huge advocate for the trans community, not just during her reign as Miss Trans USA, but just in life. She's currently very involved with a new youth center out near her I think it's in Illinois. She's like right on the border of like Illinois and a couple other states. But she's very involved with that right now. She transitioned. I always joke. I say, Mother's been a lady since the 80s. She transitioned back in 1989, which, I mean, that was so unprecedented back then. Yeah. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, she was literally, part of the, the first group of people that were fully, surgically transitioning back then. And she's just done so much, for, the trans community, the LGBT community in general. I could talk for hours about how amazing she is, but, Google her, YouTube her, you will see some amazing things.
Yeah. Speaking of amazing things, I want to bring up this picture next. I think this next one is just iconic. So, Fanci, would you care to describe this picture?
Yes.
Come on, Smokey Eye.
Yes, honey. So, okay. As we said before, I host a lot of my own shows, and Mother gets behind on schedules sometimes. Plus, I'm a camp queen. I love a good shtick. And that was my holiday hangover bingo. It's all between like Christmas and New Year's. So I called it Holiday Hangover. So I literally just took like all my holiday makeup colors and just
used it all.
Yeah, honey. I said I'll take it all.
I love it.
And I was trying to look like, a 5-day hangover from the holidays, lost in the gutter somewhere. I think I did a pretty good job. The only thing better than that, and if you have this photo, I'll slap you. So my bingos that I do, we always do cheesy themes. And whenever we do I do a slumber party bingo. I cheat so bad. All I do is take a little bit of green foundation, mix it with some white, and make it look like cold cream. Put some rollers in a wig and call it a look.
That's amazing, though.
Everybody's crazy old mother, yelling at the kids, go to bed.
No, the only other bingo picture I have is this disaster.
Oh, God. Well.
That is brilliant.
That was taken afterward. We were so tired.
That was a summer bingo So we were gross and sweaty. It was after the show. And somebody like popped in and was like, oh, picture. And I'm like, oh no. So we all made terrible faces and just, yeah.
The same situation as when you're a kid and you don't want to take a picture and your mom says, smile for the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And as I always say, drag is a winter sport, dear. That's why I can't do it.
It truly is.
That is like the one thing I can probably kind of empathize with. That I've not seen too much drag except for Jade, but I've definitely worn 45 pounds of costuming and a full corset in 95 to 100 degree weather more than once. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Speaking of which,
Oh God,
Oh, no.
here we go. Yeah.
this is what she's talking about.
Yeah, yes, that is my full Lady Morgan outfit. The makeup has changed a lot. Hanging out with mutual friends of ours, Melanie Woosley and Ariel Dement, they've been actresses and dancers and all kinds of stuff for years and years. So they finally were like, girl, okay, here's how you contour to make it look like you have a face on stage. And I was like, oh, thank you. That helps a lot.
Although, speaking of drag, I want to talk about this picture.
Yeah.
This handsome young man.
Oh, God. In 2012, I was initially cast, and it was really fun. I was at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. I was initially cast as a knight, and then later they came to me and they were like, we want to do the Shakespeare thing where you're like a woman pretending to be a man. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And Jade will remember that year was also the year I had bleached my hair entirely. So this is my natural hair color. It's really, really dark. And I had bleached it all to be Milady de Winter. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go for it. So I just cut it all off. Yeah, and looked like that for a while. It was fun because there were times where people would think, like I would see pictures of myself and think I was one of the other male actors that was there. It was fascinating. It was really fun. I wish I would, if I could go back and do it again, I wish I would have done more research into what it's like to not see that as a character.
And
like,
just,
yeah, to really, I remember one of the early rehearsals, I was like, you know what? I don't know how to move like a man. I'm going to try. I like stuffed socks in the fronts of my pants so that I could figure out what it was like to walk around with a penis. And then my friends were like, okay, you look real weird because you're wearing biker shorts. Maybe you shouldn't do that. And I was like, okay, sure. So I got kind of like pressured out of it, but I wish I would have like pushed through and been like, no. If I'm going to portray this character, originally I was like, oh, I'm sneaking around as a man so that I can get close to this boy that I like. But I wish I could be like, no, I'm actually trying to do like an early Elizabethan transition and just authentically portray that. I wish I would have known what that was at the time, but I didn't.
I love it. Like I got to see you as that character, and I still thought it was really clever and really fun.
That's a man, Maury.
That was a man. All right.
That was so much fun.
Got another fabulous. You girls have so many amazing pictures that I've had trouble figuring out which ones I want to go with. But I want to talk about this picture right here. Look at her.
Gosh.
Legs for days. More legs than a bucket of chicken.
Yes. Any comments?
I did Miss Renaissance, which is a pageant that is held in Atlanta or Hotlanta. My Yaya's sister from Detroit, Aubrey or Melanie, was stepping down. So I went out there. I had a really good time. I was first alternate. Seems to be my shtick. But it was great. It was actually the first time I've competed in a swimsuit competition. So I wanted to kind of do it to feel comfortable before I jumped into Continental. It's kind of why I waited for so long. You know, I've always been so nervous and so afraid. Being, a trans woman, I had an image of what I thought my transition would look like before I walked across the Continental stage. Couple different things, but yeah, that was the first time I competed in swimsuit.
Wow.
That's amazing. Like, She got the hair all the way up there. Not that I'm doing the same thing tonight at all.
But that's not real hair, right? That's not.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
She had a little bit of help with that one.
Fabulous too.
I mean, it's real.
Gorgeous.
It's real. It's just, it's her. She paid for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
My hair, I bought it.
It was super fun. I had a lot of fun. It was the first time I'd ever been to Atlanta. And Atlanta was so welcoming and so kind. They kept calling me a little Mimi Marks, and they were just so loving to me. And they could tell I was super nervous to be there. But I'll definitely go back. I had an amazing time there.
That's awesome.
So,
I'm very glad that you are out and proud as a trans woman too. Last week we had a cis drag queen on the show. Since you've come out as trans, do you, like, some girls don't consider themselves a drag queen anymore? What's your take on that?
It's weird for me, I think, because growing up, I never knew. I didn't know what trans was. I had seen the Maury shows and the Sally Jesse shows and the Springer shows with Tandy and Mimi and all the legendary ladies. But I didn't really know what it really meant. I knew that I was male and that I felt this certain way, so I thought about doing drag. And I fell in love with it, and it helped me to transition for sure. When I'm still transitioning. I think it's a lifetime transition. But when I transitioned, it was that thing I kind of had to accept. A lot of people were like, "You're not a drag queen," and never in like a negative way. It was in a supportive way, but it was kind of like I took it negatively. I was like, "What do you mean?" And then one of my really good friends, Kira Daniels, I call her my tits. One day we were outside of BS West and we were on the parking structure, and we may have been smoking or maybe a cigarette or two, who knows. And she had mentioned that, and I think she could tell that it struck a nerve, not upset, but more of like defeated. And she was like, "Tits, you're an entertainer. There's a difference." And at that point, it kind of clicked, for me. I still love drag, and I love to do the hair and the makeup, and sometimes it doesn't always work for me, and I'm learning that balance. Chantel made a really good comment to me at my prelim or Continental prelim, and she said, "One thing I want you to take away from this is that you're an entertainer, but you're a woman, you're female, and it's okay to present exactly like that out on stage and not have to wear this, that, and the other." So I've been doing it since I was 18. I'm 32. I've lied for a few years, so I'm not sure. 32. So yeah, it's kind of one of those. It's a transition.
I love it. It's funny. We were chatting with Chi-Chi last week, and she was just kind of like, when she started doing drag, she was like, "Do I put boobs on top of my boobs?" And like, I've already got curves, but she found her own way. And I love how everybody just finds their own way in drag. And, I have this right here. This is some drag, girl. I love this.
So that is when I just got back from Entertainer of the Year. I was first alternate to Danielle Hunter, and I had been saving up, and I had a really close family friend of mine who was helping me along the way for my breast surgery. And I ended up winning $1,000, which was basically what I needed to make me to be able to do my surgery. So that photo was kind of like my type thing, it was a lot of different emotions wrapped up into one. But I'm still proud of it. So
I love that photo. It's so stunning. It's captivating. Like, it's got these, yeah, mine.
It's on my chin, basically, but
I think Candy
it works.
Candy has the same photo, doing the same pose. I was like, but of course I was like, "Mom, put your tits away."
Alrighty, I have more photos in here.
Terrified.
I'm enjoying this. This is so much fun. This right here. This picture.
I'm wearing pretty much the same thing in green right now.
Wow.
So I decided I wanted to do some sort of Lilu Dallas from Fifth Element situation. And I work at Pottery Barn at one of our outdoor malls, and I work in stock. So I unpackage all of the stuff. I see it all first. And I saw this orange bubble wrap, and I was like, I have to make an outfit out of this, because how many times are you going to come across orange bubble wrap?
Mm-hmm.
And I've wanted to do Lilu for a while, so I just went for it. So that jacket I made pretty much out of bubble wrap and tape, and then everything else I bought and like made myself. And Lilu is one of my favorite movie characters because Fifth Element is my favorite movie. So it had been a long time coming that I wanted to do that character. So that was a fun little night.
I love a good, like a good costume that you just look at it and you know what character it's supposed to be. I also want to point out this one.
What? Oh, that looks cool.
So this was for a coronation in Oklahoma. And let me just explain coronations really quick. So a coronation for the court system is the changing of pretty much the whole year. So they get a new 2 fundraising chairs. And it's pretty much a celebration of the people who have been working for that whole year. And then people campaign for either a month or 2 before that. And so they're voted in as the new fundraising chairs. So that was in Oklahoma during my reign. And the theme of that coronation was Marvel versus DC.
Ooh.
So comic book characters. And so I was like, I'll do Poison Ivy.
Yes.
And that outfit is actually a creative costume that my partner used for one of the largest pageants here in town. It's called the Duke City pageant. It hit 10 years this year. Unfortunately, they're not able to do the pageant because of everything. But that outfit had just been sitting in the closet. So I was like, I'm going to take it with me to Oklahoma and shut it down as Poison Ivy.
But it's a work.
Right?
Gigantic leaf.
That's
trim,
amazing.
Flowers and butterflies. And it has a shoulder piece that I didn't take with me because I had to fly out there. But it's a gorgeous thing. It has like rain coming down from the one sleeve and all the things.
I love that.
That's so stunning. Let's see. What other pictures have I got? Well, I haven't picked on myself yet. So
Yes.
I probably should. And since we are talking about drag families tonight, I would like to share. So this picture, I'm the blonde in this picture. This was at the end of one of our Dragon Burlesque Fusion shows. And the lovely people with me in the middle of the picture, that is my drag grandchild, Baby Flamingo, and their drag parent, who is one of my drag children. They now go by the name of Legs Akimbo. So yeah, I adore those 2 Muppets, my beautiful non-binary children and grandchildren.
I live.
Right. I adore them.
So cute.
We actually just got an interesting question. This question is for Eva, and if you don't want to answer, that's totally fine. But the question is, Eva, I hope this question doesn't make you uncomfortable, but I'm always curious to hear different perspectives. As a trans performer, what is your opinion on the conversation surrounding RuPaul's Drag Race and its lack of trans representation? Same question as it pertains to pageant systems that do not allow trans participants.
First, I like that you included that second part because that has a lot to do with my answer. So at the beginning of Drag Race, when it kind of became really popular, and it was obviously that trans individuals would not be accepted onto the show, I found myself siding with the conversation that we could find a different platform. But that was simply because I don't want to be on Drag Race. You know, I personally, and that's not, I can't speak for every trans individual out there. So when it was posed to me, well, what about pageantry? Because I'm so in love with pageantry. It made me think about it because there's a system that I've always wanted to compete for and I've always admired. And that's obviously Miss Gay America. And because I am born the way that I am born, I am just qualified for said pageant. And very much like Candy in the 80s when she had her surgery, she became disqualified from so many national pageants. And, you know, it was kind of a reason of why she went to Australia. And when she moved back here, All American Goddess opened their arms to her. And, you know, I hope that they don't create another platform. I hope that Rue understands that trans women have a place. And she can make that known. And I hope Gay America one day can too. You know, so many individuals have come through that pageant. And just because we're trans doesn't necessarily mean we're not a symbol of excellence or we don't understand what that means. And when it got asked to me in the pageant question, that's when it hit me. It needs to change. It's got to change. We have to, in order for us to continue loving and living. Pageants are dying, and if I'm a trans woman and I want to continue pageantry and keep it alive for the next generation, then I shouldn't be told I can't do so. It's my money, you know. So yeah, I am support of pushing that envelope and hoping that they'll make a response. I guess, you know, it's in their court though, but I'm in support of it.
I've noticed, I forget what year it was, but when Clodie Rodriguez, who was Miss Gay Pennsylvania at the time, she was doing her step down. And I've known Clodie for a while. Her and I ran into each other at the grocery store now it's been a couple months ago. But at her step down, she made this beautiful speech and she said, "I'm so grateful to have everybody here because in front of all of my friends and family, I want to let you know that I have realized in this year that I am a woman and I'm going to start my journey." And she took her first hormone pill on stage at her step down and they banned her. But because you can't, with the America system, you cannot simulate or take a drug on stage, which technically she did. But then they went back and they were like, you know what, that rule, that's not why that rule exists. So they reinstated her as a former. And now, you know, she's beautiful. Every time I see her, I'm just like, and Eva, you're reminding me of her a lot because every time I see her, her smile is just, it lights up a room and it makes me so happy. She also, she started hormone treatments and she did, I hope she, don't yell at me for this, Clodie, she did gastric bypass at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So every time I saw her afterward, I was like, you look amazing. And she's like, yeah, I've lost a lot of weight. And I was like, I don't care about the weight, your smile. And she was like she got emotional. Of course, every time I see her, she's been, you know, at the bar for a little while. But yeah, I think things are changing. It's a slow change, but I think those changes are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I love the America system, but it's a boys' club right now. Like, there's nothing for women. Like, even there's nothing for drag kings. Their male category is for men. Their female category is for men. So I'm hoping they are enlightened and they realize we need to open this up to everybody because, you know, as we've said a million times, all drag is valid.
I was hearing that the gent system just opened up to trans males as well.
And that's the next question too, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because even, I mean, most pageant systems until very recently, you know, even the systems that were quote unquote, you know, started as trans systems or geared toward trans people, they would not allow contestants if they were post-op. If they had bottom surgery, especially the trans women, they couldn't compete. It wasn't like Continental. I think it was 2 years ago. They just changed the rule.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and it's something like Continental was like, I mean, it was always known, for, it's leaning toward the trans community. It was kind of started as a response to Miss Gay America, kind of like here's a place for the trans women. But it wasn't, at least it wasn't until very recent that they allowed post-op trans women to compete.
Yeah.
So it's
and two, Jim's, from my understanding, Jim wanted to start Continental because he had seen individuals that may or may have not been trans presenting or trans identifying, but had work done, had augmented their bodies for the gig.
Right.
We ask these entertainers ourselves to dedicate their entire life, to our industry, and those people were being, segregated. They were being excluded and laughed at, and Jim didn't like that. But again, it took many, many, many years, decades for, them to say, post-op trans women are allowed to compete. And they still have yet to make that decision with trans men. And, we've allowed trans women to compete in drag, female impersonator, female identifying female, whatever, pageantry. You can even compete in femme systems, depending on what system it is. But they haven't done that in any system for the trans men. They still have to compete in the King or the MI division. And as a trans individual, when you hear male impersonator or female impersonator, it's basically, female imposter, and that's not what we are. So I love that you brought that up, Kiki.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what doors open in pageantry, because a lot are closed still. In the court system itself, like I can speak for New Mexico, we have the first non-binary title holder as Empress right now. So instead of an Emperor, Empress binary, now we have a non-binary title, and they're able to fundraise. So we fought in the last few years to get non-binary titles in our court, and to kind of start that narrative with the community to say, like, if you're shutting out these certain people who want to raise money for the organization and for the community, if you're not making room for them, you're shutting them out. And ultimately, you're turning away people who are willing to donate time and money to help great causes. And the same goes for pageantry. Like, why is there not a full non-binary title for some pageants? Like, we're not there yet, but it's possible. Like, there could be a whole system which is non-binary, and just not conversations that are taking place as much, but it should, because there's people who want to compete for these pageants who don't feel like they're fitting into a binary whatsoever, but they have the drive, the artistic abilities, the talents just as much as any of us.
Exactly.
One of the things I saw recently, which I thought was interesting, it's along the same lines, but slightly different. In the leather community, they have their titles and things. And I've seen several different leather titles in the area, in the Philadelphia area, that have, they have their contest, they have their one winner, but they have 3 sashes ready for them. They have a Mr., a Miss, and a Mix. So, like, it's one winner, and then they get to pick which title they want.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Like, I was like, okay, like, crafty. We like this.
We used to have
we pretty
title...
much did the same thing. Sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
We have a packet that you fill out when you want to fulfill this position, and we have the Emperor, Empress, and then a non-binary title of your choosing, as long as it's respective. Like, we're not going to call you, like, the bitch or something like that. You still have to have a respective title, like Monarch, Empress, something along those lines. but it's giving room to those sorts of gender identities that want to partake, which haven't had room before or have had to choose.
Yeah. We used to have a pageant up here called the State Street pageant, and it was to crown the trashiest and filthiest Harrisburg had to offer. And I'm 2017.
Yeah.
But after
Did you win?
my year, the promoter decided to step down from being the promoter and bestowed it upon a group of us. And one of the first decisions we made was to change it from Mr. and Miss to Mix State Street. And then we didn't have a big enough turnout, and we've decided to dissolve it for the time being. We may revisit it at some point, but for right now, you know, there's other stuff to focus on. So I always like the title of Regent.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
If you guys happen to have any kind of verbiage, so a little bit about me in my professional job. I work for a nonprofit out here in the Valley, and they happen to put on the Pride Festival and the Pride pageants that we have here. And one thing that we have been trying to do is have a little bit more inclusivity when it comes to the pageant, because we do understand that not everyone is Miss or Mr., and that's the way that it reads now. But we too, Jade, kind of had the same thing. We had individuals who came to the organization, and I'm always an open ear and, you know, wanting to take the input. But we really weren't able to develop it or get an interest for it. But I know that those people are here in the Arizona Phoenix community. So if you guys happen to have anything you guys ever remember, or anyone who's watching, I almost said slide into my DM, but we know.
I can actually get you in touch with, she was my PR when I was Empress, and we also reigned together as PRs when I was a PR as well. So she goes by she or they. You might know Frida. Frida was a past MX title holder for Pride here in Albuquerque, and they have a lot of insight into like verbiage for maybe packets, or I know like she did a lot of input for our packet for Emperor, Empress, stuff like that, and just I would say just opening it up like we did with having a title where it's respective, but also resembles like that high stature, like MX. Right. They were MX Pride for that whole year, and then also instead of princess for the line, she was Princette, so with a T. To switch it up, we pretty much let her pick whatever she thought was respective and was around the same level to pretty much be comfortable and make room.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Send me anything, to the poll and how to word it. And some of the questions we had, or that people had is like, how do I judge that? So then I asked myself too, as I've judged lots of pageants. So I asked, how would I judge, and I understand that it goes back to rewording, the packet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I can also get you a list of like people who worked on the Pride board, who dealt with like the judging portion of the pageant and stuff like that, to see if they judged it any different than the other titles. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's amazing.
Making connections.
Exactly.
Make that room. There's a room here.
Exactly. Well, we are reaching the end of our time, so I want to go around if anybody has any last words for everyone. Let's start over here with Kiki.
Thank you for having me. Look into local courts, organizations that help other nonprofit organizations. Donate as much as you can right now if you're able to. I know a lot of organizations are hurting. a lot of government-funded organizations like Planned Parenthood and things like that. Yeah, just support the arts, wear your masks, go get tested if you feel like you're having symptoms. I don't know what else I could cover. Have a drink.
There you go.
But
I had a husband
for
fairy
having me.
Just in time. I just finished my bottle.
Eva, anything to add?
Yeah, thank you guys again for having me. Thank you, Fanci, for inviting me. Thank you, Jade, Melissa, and Kiki. It was good to see you. Make sure you guys vote. Make sure you guys do the census. I know we keep saying this over and over and over again, but the census is still open. As someone who works in nonprofit, and my livelihood and the life of our communities depend on information and data, please do the census. Educate yourself on the vote and make sure you guys are voting for the right people who have our best interests at mind. It's going to be really, really, really important. We have a long road ahead of us, but we'll all make it. I know every state is different. Arizona's, as you know, the worst. But we're gonna get through this. So just keep being smart. Like Kiki said, wear your mask, play safe, and make sure you vote. Hashtag accountability.
Yes.
I think you've been officially surpassed by Florida, actually.
Have they?
I think Florida is officially the
I hate
worst.
to say it, but that's great news. No.
Melissa, anything to close out with?
I've had COVID. It wasn't fun. I was very fortunate. I only had it for a couple of days, but it felt like I was having an asthma attack all day long. And I remember snapping my fingers at my cat because she was trying to drink my wine because I just needed something to support me. And it felt like my fingers were breaking. Like that's how much in pain my joints were. So you know your body best. If you feel like you have any kind of symptoms, don't hesitate. Get yourself tested. Testing also isn't entirely 100% accurate either, because this is a new disease and it's always changing, and it's like the flu. It's going to completely adapt as it goes on. So know yourself as well and continue to advocate for yourself. I have a friend who's in the hospital right now who has chronic illness, and she's been such an amazing person to observe, that she's constantly advocating for herself. So whether you are, in government work, or if you're a trans individual, don't let people tell you that you're not valid for how you feel, that all of your feelings are valid and that people should see you as a real human being. Like you exist and you're important, and don't let people tell you that what you're feeling isn't real. Like, be the best advocate that you can for yourself. And it's a real situation. Wear masks. Be careful.
Amazing. Fanci?
Just kind of tying all that in together. During all this insanity, remember that self-care is a thing and it is necessary. Even just like obviously everything everybody else said, the masks, this, that, your physical health, but really check in with yourself on your mental health. If you need to, put down your phone, sign off of Facebook, all the social media. Like, trust me, with all the crazies out there, with the anti-maskers and the Trumpers and the hoo-has and it can make you go nuts dealing with all these crazies. So, if it's starting to get to you, take that time for yourself, sign off social media, call a friend, have a kiki, do something, watch a good movie, watch Hamilton on Disney Plus. It's fabulous. But yeah, just take some time for self-care. Remember, that is the utmost of importance, because if we're not mentally taking care of ourselves, we're kind of screwed.
So true. I just want to thank you all for being here tonight. I've had such a good time. I adore all of you. I can't wait to chat with all of you again. I definitely want to have you all back on at some point. If anybody out there has any questions or anything they want to see on the show, you could always send us an email at insidethedragcloset@gmail.com. If you would like to help contribute to the show, you can always send me money. Send me money. My Venmo is at Jade DeVere, all one word. Just put in the title line, Inside the Drag Closet, and you can help us advertise the show and make the show even bigger and better. Speaking of the show, next week we have some fabulous guests. Tonight was a Stratton family takeover, but next
I
week
think we took over.
we've got some boys. That's right. We are featuring drag kings next week. I'm super excited. My co-host is going to be Scarlet Overkill. I got Ryder Knightley all the way from New York is coming to chat with everyone. And our current reigning Mr. Central Pennsylvania Pride, my darling drag son, Mikkel Bono, is going to be here as well. And our Woo Girl of the Week, who just had an experience in drag herself, is going to be the talented Amy Reeder.
Yay!
He is a member of Melissa's group Chase Treasure and also did a production of Macbeth, Death by Fluffy Kittens, with yours truly a few weeks ago with the social distancing players and the Zenith players. So keep your eyes open for that. I hope you all had a fantastic time with us, and we're going to hope to see you all next week. Good night, kids.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us here at Inside the Drag Closet with Jade and her fabulous team and special guests. See you next Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on WLFE-TV.com.